Welcome to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast with me, Dave Roberts. Today I have the pleasure to be talking with James Perry, who is the founding director of Osmium Partners based in Manchester in the UK. James has been involved with the technology recruitment industry for the last decade and has worked across a variety of different areas, but with a passion for technology and business change. What a pleasure to have you here today, James.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good. So let's start. So how did you actually start your career in technology recruitment, and how has it led you to creating Osmium Partners?
So, unlike most in the recruitment industry, it was actually a planned career move. So I did some work experience with a family friend of mine. And in all honesty, I don't really come from a business orientated family. And I met this person and it gave me quite a bit of direction, really, to go after that career, and went in with a plan to build a career in there and add some value. And in the end, it's led to me having my own business and creating Osmium Partners.
But what made you want to focus in on technology and business change as your core specialism?
So I have a genuine interest in technology in general, and also everything around why technology enhances businesses. And I think since I've been in recruitment, that's enhanced even more so, in that a lot of business decisions now are directly driven via technology. So maybe when I first went into technology recruitment, technology teams were almost there to keep the lights on to a certain extent, or seem like that from the business anyway. But what has obviously materialized is that actually now CIOs, CTOs, IT directors are involved in business decisions that are generally focused on technology-driven data and so on and so forth. So that's the interest into why I set up Osmium Partners. It is genuinely an interest of mine.
So what skills in 2024 do you think are in most demand at the moment, and how should employers seek to attract those best candidates?
So it's very dependent on sort of sector, what skill sets are in demand. I've looked at a lot of data over the last few months of 2024, and it seems that cybersecurity and data professionals are very much in demand. And interestingly, we do have a skills shortage in that type of professional in the UK. In regards to seeking and attracting the best candidates, in my opinion, it comes down to how you can get your company message out to the tech market ultimately. So it's not now just putting a job advert out and expecting people to apply. It's more being able to tell that story of what you are actually doing as a business, what you're doing with the technology stack, what your business drivers are, and being able to put that across via social media, marketing campaigns, testimonials with your current employees. It's become a little bit more of a talent attraction program of work now to really go out there and get the best talent, rather than maybe 10, 15 years ago. You could go out to the market, put a job advert out, and you'd get a lot of good people through. It's a lot more of a headhunting type market now.
And as you say, things have changed over the last few years, but certainly I think the biggest change is probably seen that post-COVID world that we've moved into. So how has COVID changed the way that we work and the way that we hire people?
It's had definitely a positive effect in that we have adopted more of a working from home hybrid model, which technology actually as a sector, I feel like had adopted that quite well anyway, but it's definitely again enhanced the hybrid model. In regards to actually hiring people, I didn't see as many Teams and Zoom interviews before COVID, and almost every client I interact with now will use Teams in some form of part of the interview process. That may be a half an hour Teams call just to sound out the role. It might be a completely remote based interview process. I've recently just hired a senior role for a global client, and they never met face to face. So hiring wise, it's allowed us to definitely be more sort of agile and time efficient. In regards to the way we work, I do think it's an interesting one now in 2024, in that we are seeing a bit more of a shift now with our clients, in that they are looking at the hybrid model much more than fully remote roles. So 2 to 3 days a week on site, which I know the first thing candidates do ask is this a fully remote role? Is it hybrid? If it's hybrid, how does that actually work?
So building on that, what sort of tips and recommendations would you provide to hiring managers when it comes to maybe assessments for technical roles?
So I think, again, it depends on what role you are looking at recruiting. I do think, if I'm completely honest, that the tech market is very much still a candidate-driven market. So the days of sort of half an hour-long technical tests for a developer are well and truly gone. You just won't get the buy-in from people to do that, because ultimately these people are being approached for similar roles. So you do have to be really careful. I don't think that technical assessments are dead completely in the recruitment process, but I think you do have to be understanding that people are taking time out of their day to work on a technical assessment, and they do ultimately have probably quite a lot of interviews going on at the time. So yeah, I think it's all about the role, and I think where the technical assessment fits in the process. So if that's a first stage to have a technical test, I would suggest that would be the second stage. I would get the buy-in from the candidate that they're interested in the role and that you're interested in them pursuing that position. And then maybe second stage, throw in a 10-minute technical assessment there. In all honesty, my genuine advice would be is steer away as much as you can from technical tests, because unfortunately the candidate market doesn't really like technical tests, and that's from my experience.
And what about when it comes to the cultural fit within a team? How do you balance that technical proficiency with the softer skills when evaluating candidates?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it comes down to us as recruitment partners in that you need to invest enough time into understanding the client company culture. You need to understand what the role in detail, so where that role fits within the function. Is it a development role where there may potentially need to be completely technical and not so much leadership of people or interactions? So it's very much down to us as recruitment partners to get to know our clients, get to know our candidates, and ensure that you're matching that culture fit correctly, and not just matching the culture fit to the organisation, matching the culture fit to the team they're joining or the role that they are going to pursue in that company.
So what are the emerging trends in the tech industry, and how are these going to impact tech recruitment in the near future?
It's interesting, really. I think there are a lot of what people are calling rec tech tools out there at the moment. But from my side of things, for us as a business, I do want to keep the people element at the forefront of the business. So as much as we don't want to be dinosaurs and we do want to adopt technology, I think we ultimately need to ensure that the administration tasks are using automated process. But in regards to the actual tech market itself, there's obviously massive conversations around AI. And I think actually when people say AI, they don't necessarily mean true AI at the moment. And when I speak to a lot of CIOs, boards mention AI, but what they generally mean from what I've heard is sort of process automation, which has been around for 15, 20 years. So I do think a lot of companies are behind the curve on the true AI that we talk about right now. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Definitely agree with that in terms of the use of AI and the terminology, and yeah, actually, is it automation, is it machine learning? The true definition is sometimes masked. So if people wanted to learn more about Osmium Partners, what should they do next?
Yeah, I mean, by all means, reach out to myself via LinkedIn. Have a look at our website, which is www.osmium-partners.co.uk. And if you want an exploratory chat, whether that be candidate or client, by all means, reach out to me. I'd be keen to discuss the technology landscape with anyone.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for taking the time to talk with us today, James. It's really been a pleasure to learn more about tech recruitment and the evolving nature of the industry at the moment. Just wanted to say thank you once again for being part of the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast.
No, thank you to you as well, Dave. You've supported me through the setup of Osmium. I look forward to catching up with you soon, and thanks for listening, everyone.
Please remember to subscribe to the podcast and stay tuned for more inspiring tech leaders.